In this section, we will discuss task management in the Task Manager. Task management is a little bit different than in Windows 7 because programs are not really stopped. They continue to run in a cached mode. Even when you go away from the program, go to another program. And the task manager itself is different too. So let me give you a few examples. Let's go to start. For example, if I start my weather thing, this is a task, but there is no red X here. Get out of it. The way you get out of it, you just do something else. You go back, for example, to start. Or when I start my financial application, this is a task, a program that runs, and there's no way to really stop it. If you look in the Task Manager, or even better, you go up to this left corner here, and you move down here, then you see all your tasks that are running. Now we just started two. We started the financial application and the weather, and before we were on the desktop, which, remember, that is also an application. So you have these applications running here, or cached if you want so. The advantage is that if you go back to the application, it comes back instantly. Whilst if you started initially, now those were started before, that's why they came up instantly. If you started for the very first time, it may take a little while to start, depending on the speed of your disk, of course. You can right-click on those right here, and you can close them. I won't do that at this moment. And if you click on the Start menu, then they disappear. But see, and you have to kind of move your cursor here on the side. And again, this is something that is really made for tablets rather than for the desktop. In that instance, I should tell you that the corners of your screen, they always hide something. I think we were down here where we could actually go and name our groups here. Remember this one here? Or you may have seen a few times when I go down here, those guys, and again you have to move up here, those guys disappear. The charms, we will discuss those later. And I showed you on the desktop, and let's go to the desktop, that when you go into this corner here, in the bottom left, you get the Start button if you want so. And if you right click on it, you get a whole slew of system programs, which we will discuss at another time. But now we're on task management, so let's have a look at the Task Manager. The Task Manager you go to like you usually did, by right clicking on the taskbar, and you go to the Task Manager. And let me first give you a small view of the Task Manager. The small view, remember we started the finance application and the weather application, and those are the two applications that are here. And if you want to stop them, you just you just highlight them and end the task, and then it's gone. If you want more details, that was what we had earlier, and let's make that a little bigger here. You have buttons here, and those are the processes. Well, the finance process is still there, and it takes 62 megabytes. It takes no CPU time because it is cached. The caching, I'm not 100% sure how it works, but I assume it works similar to Superfetch in Windows 7. And then you have a list here and I have ordered it by memory here. That's by clicking here. If you want to order it by CPU time, right now only the task manager is running, so that's the only one that takes some CPU time, and there may be something else running. No, if you go down, isn't much else running. You see which processes take the CPU time and which process takes the memory and how much, and then this space here, and network time is also interesting, but we currently have none that use any of that. Here's a little itty bit. The system just used the 0.1 megabyte per second transfer to the system. So this is system activity, and this is network activity. Now we have a little bit more usage of the CPU, but the CPU usage is absolutely minimal. And as you will see later, since it's a virtual machine, we're only running on one of my 8 CPUs, or cores if you want so. Then let's go to the next tab here. It's performance. Oh, here we already can see that it's a 3.36 gigahertz processor, but it's only one processor that's being used. And here you can see the CPU activity. We haven't really done anything, so this is very low key, and it's over time. It's nice to see. If you have big peaks and you don't know where the peaks come from, then maybe you want to investigate that. Memory is more or less a constant number. That doesn't change very much. Disk activity, there's a little activity here and there. See, this is a little ripple we have seen earlier. And then Ethernet activity, none at all. Of course, if you run the Internet Explorer, there would be some. Okay, and then there are some interesting numbers down here. Then let's go to the next tab here, application history. Now that's interesting. That's the history since 3.11. Now I don't know what was special on 3.11. That's about a month ago. I guess they keep the history of 1 month. That could be possible. And it tells you which programs used which CPU time, or network activity, or tile update, and I don't really know what tile update means. And then there's some oddities. For example, I never used pinball in my life, and it has some CPU time that it needed here. Maybe when I moved the tile around, maybe that's where it came from. And here also photo, I never used. All I did, I deleted the tile. Maybe that's where the time came out, but it's nothing. It's a 0.2 seconds. Music I use quite a bit. Yeah, I sometimes use the music player here to play music. Internet Explorer, of course, I use the videos. I played videos here on the weather thing we just use, and I used it a few times before. So that's interesting to give you some historic view. Startup, that is great that you have that here, because here you can manage your startup programs, and as usual you don't want a lot of startup programs. In fact, best is to have none other those that you really want. Well, I had this Ask updater here, and that is one of these search engines that I really don't use. And see, the impact on the start impact is high, so I disabled it. The way you do that, you just click on it, and then here that would be an enable, and this one is enabled, and then if I click on here it would disable it. But this one I don't want to disable. It's my Rocket Dock. We haven't talked about the Rocket Dock yet, or any dock. We'll talk about that at another time. Then users, of course, it's only me. That's here is some details about the processes. Now WWA host X, probably not familiar with it. You can right click on it, and nice thing is you can search online, and usually you don't have to go very far, you just read what's here. I explore X, Internet Explorer, Windows process for Microsoft Internet Explorer web browser at the time of writing. Okay, so Here's another one. Removal malware information. Don't know, migrating. Okay, you can go to these sites and then they will tell you more about it. There is of course some. Well, here's one that I recognize. This is the MSE EXA, the anti-malware. In fact, it says here. Those are iffy here. The SVC host EXA. That can be anything, because those guys, they run DLLs, and you have many of those. See, here's 3 right here. There's a 4th one. In order to find out what these guys do, you really need other helpers, and you cannot easily find out what's running here. There are programs where you can find out, but that may go too far in this explanation. And then services. These are all the services that are running or not running. Some are stopped. And you can, of course, right-click on it, and you can then open services. And in the services themselves here, these are all the services that are either running, started, disabled, or what have you. If you have a service that is bugging you and you want to disable it, it's relatively easy. You right-click on it and go to Properties. And here in Properties, now this one is set to manual, but you can click on it and see you have the options automatic delayed, automatic manual, which this one is, and disabled. So just disable it and see whether that helps. Sometimes it does, and sometimes of course you don't want to do that with a process that is important for the system, but there are some processes that are a pain in the neck, and I sometimes disable 1 or 2 here. Okay. So much for this. So the new task manager is very nice. It's a lot more telling than the old task manager. It gives you a lot more information. Now, the old task manager really didn't give you a lot of information. I usually use the resource monitor to find the information, but now you can find all this information that used to be in the resource monitor. I especially like the startup here. Now here, this is not a system where I do anything with. It's just an experimental system, if you want. So I don't have a lot of things. But if you have the day you get Windows 8 from an OEM, for example, you buy an HP laptop with Windows 8 in November, December, you'll have a lot of startup programs. And again, disable everything. That you can disable practically everything, except those that you set yourself, like for example here, in my case, a Rocket Duck. Well, since I made you curious, let me just show you what the Rocket Duck is. It's a little duck here, where I parked certain things. Actually, most of those are still default things, and they are you can easily. But if you have a shortcut, if you make a shortcut of something, for example, let's make a shortcut. Let's start the Internet Explorer, and the Internet Explorer. See, this forum is my default forum, and let's make a shortcut of this. Just pull this out. This is the easiest to make a shortcut. Okay. And then if I move this into the Rocket Duck, let me move it here. Okay. So if I go then into the Rocket Duck, and it's a question mark, and there is a reason for that anyhow. And then it goes directly to this shortcut. You can also create a shortcut the right way, which is by right-clicking on it. Do you want to put a shortcut on the desktop? Yes, I want to put it on the desktop. Now this is a true shortcut. Let me get rid of this, because there's true and non-true shortcuts. If I want to get the old one out of the Rocket Duck, it's very easy. Just pull it out and it explodes. Now let me put this one into the Rocket Duck here. Come on, Rocket Duck. Well, you can put it wherever you want. Okay, now see, now I get a proper one with a globe. Okay, because the other one I would have had to keep the shortcut on the desktop, else it wouldn't work. But this one I can delete, and you will see my Windows 7 forum shortcut still works. Now why do I get a small window here? Okay, well, so much for task management. It is a little different than in Windows 7, but it's not the world different. So the task manager itself is very different. But task management, if you add task management and Superfetch, are not that much different.